The American frontier was a land of untamed wilderness, lawless men, and created many legends. Among them stood one of the most famous names of the Old West. His name was Wild Bill Hickok. A gunfighter, lawman, gambler, his story is written in blood and smoke. His aim was as true as his reputation was deadly. Even those who feared him couldn't help but admire him. This is the legend of Wild Bill Hickok. Born in 1837 in Homer, Illinois, Hickok grew up in a family of abolitionists, raised with a sense of justice and adventure. By his early 20s, he had left home and worked as a stagecoach driver, a scout for the U.S. Army, and eventually a lawman. But it was his skill with a revolver that made him a legend. Hickok favored a pair of Colt 1851 Navy revolvers with ivory grips that were holstered in a reverse draw fashion. These .36 caliber pistols, known for their accuracy, became his signature weapons. His nickname Wild Bill was said to have originated during his time as a scout in the Union Army. Some claimed it referenced his reckless bravery in battle. Others said it came from a fellow soldier's mistake. Whatever the origin is, the name only added to his growing legend. The first true test of Wild Bill's deadly skill came in 1861 at Rock Creek Station in the Nebraska Territory. Hickok was working as a stable hand when he crossed paths with David McCandles, a local rancher with a reputation for bullying. McCandles accused Hickok and the station manager of cheating him in a land deal and arrived at the station with 2 armed men and his 12-year-old son. When McCandles threatened violence, Hickok responded without hesitation. He drew his revolver and shot McCandles dead. In the ensuing gunfight, Hickok killed one of McCandles' men and severely wounded the other. The young boy fled. Hickok was later acquitted, claiming self-defense. The newspapers dubbed it the McCandles Massacre, and though the details were disputed, it marked the beginning of Hickok's fearsome reputation as a gunfighter. In Springfield, Missouri, Wild Bill found himself in a dispute with Davis Tutt over a gambling debt. Tutt had won Hickok's pocket watch in a poker game and paraded it to humiliate him. Insulted and unwilling to back down, Wild Bill challenged him. The two met in a town square, standing 75 feet apart. They drew their pistols almost at the same time. Wild Bill shot Tutt, killing him. It was one of the first recorded quick-draw duels, and newspapers wasted no time turning Wild Bill into a frontier hero. Over the next several years, Wild Bill drifted from town to town, seeking action and a fresh stake in poker. He served as a lawman in some of the most violent cattle towns in Kansas. As a marshal, he was known for his iron will and a steady trigger finger. In Hays City, Wild Bill's time was brief but bloody. In one confrontation, he gunned down 2 men in a saloon brawl. His most infamous encounter came when drunken soldiers from the 7th U.S. Cavalry caused trouble in a saloon. When Wild Bill arrived to restore order, the soldiers turned on him. Outnumbered but unwilling to back down, Wild Bill stood his ground. When the dust settled, one soldier lay dead, another wounded. Wild Bill was cleared of wrongdoing, but the incident only added to his legend. By 1871, Wild Bill had moved to Abilene, where the cattle trade had turned the town into a haven for roughnecks and drifters. There he faced Phil Coe, a gambler with a grudge. One night, Coe fired his pistol into the street. Wild Bill approached, and when Coe turned his gun toward him, Hickok fired twice, killing him instantly. In the chaos, Hickok accidentally shot and killed his own deputy, Mike Williams, mistaking him for another threat. The tragedy haunted him for the rest of his life, and by the end of that year, he left law enforcement for good. By the mid-1870s, age and declining eyesight had begun to take their toll. His legendary accuracy was fading. In the summer of 1876, Hickok headed to Deadwood in the Dakota Territory with his close friend, Charlie Utter and Calamity Jane. Deadwood was caught in the grip of a gold rush and was a lawless town of miners, gamblers, and outlaws. Hickok hoped to make a fortune at the poker table, but his failing eyesight made him vulnerable to cheaters and enemies. On August 2, 1876, Wild Bill took a seat at a poker table, and for the first time, he sat with his back to the door. Jack McCall, who had a grudge against Wild Bill, crept up behind him and shot him in the back of the head. Hickok's hand, black aces, and eights would forever be known as the dead man's hand. He was buried in Deadwood, and Jack McCall would be hanged for his murder. Wild Bill Hickok lived and died by the gun. He became a legend not because he sought fame, but because the West had a way of turning men like him into one.